Hi, everyone. It's Rebecca Imholz with the Mount Pleasant Chamber of Commerce. Welcome this afternoon to our weekly Monday with the Mayor. It's a beautiful day out there today, so maybe you got to eat your lunch outside, I hope. It was absolutely gorgeous weather. And Shane, I hope you're enjoying this nice, beautiful weather on a Monday.
I'm going to the World Series. So I'm a big Dodger fan. Many of you may not know that, but my Los Angeles Dodgers came back from a 3-1 deficit in the National League Championship Series, and they are headed to the World Series to take on the Tampa Bay Rays. I was an absolute wreck last night watching that game because it came down to, late inning heroics for my boys in blue, but they pulled it off. And just so folks watching today, I don't want you to think I'm a fair weather fan. I made this when I was in 7th grade.
Wow.
Seventh grade shop class. So
Wow.
Been a Dodger fan for a long time, and I'm very excited that the boys in blue are back to the World Series. So enough of that. Good to see you, Rebecca. It is a beautiful day. It is a great day because game 1 of the World Series starts tomorrow, and my favorite team is involved. So with all that being said, I'll welcome on Lauren Sims and the Honorable Will Haynie. Mr. Mayor, Lauren, good to see you both.
Hello, Shane.
Hey, Shane. Thanks for having us again.
Absolutely. Thank you both very much for the time. I hope that you both had a great weekend. We're right back to it here on Monday with the Mayor. We do this each and every Monday at 3:30, an opportunity to speak with our Mayor, the Honorable Will Haynie, and also Lauren Sims, Community and Government Affairs Chief over at the town of Mount Pleasant. And they provide us a lot of great insight. And I want to kick things right off, Mr. Mayor, with the new comp plan. Was passed unanimously. And what I'd like to do is have you talk about what's in the comp plan, but also take us through that entire process. This is a 10-year plan that the town comes up with, multiple people strategizing, giving their input, approving it, moving forward. Walk us through what that's like from start to finish.
Sure. Thanks. And thanks to everybody for joining us again. I wish we had a number of how many of these Mondays with the Mayor we've done. And Lauren, I appreciate you being here. Means a lot. I know we've added to your duties with all else you have going on. Thank you very much. And Shane, to the Chamber, I want to thank you all too. A comprehensive plan, it sounds like wonk speak, but it is required by state law. And there's a process you have to go through by state law. And what I think this one for Mount Pleasant does, it runs for 10 years. They all do by law. This one represents people on council elected over 3 election cycles. And we also, I won't say altered the process, we enhanced the process because let's just face it, there has been political upheaval in the town of Mount Pleasant over the last few election cycles. But as you can see, that has narrowed and that has gotten to where what is embodied in this comprehensive plan, which passed unanimously, I think, is a cohesive vision of the elected officials, the appointed citizens who serve on the Planning Commission, which they serve multi-year terms, so they see what's coming in and they see what pressures there are to get away from the vision of Mount Pleasant because they have a vote on those things too. And then it all started with 36 citizens who applied and were appointed and did a year's worth of work. And I can't call them all out by name, but I know most of them, if not all of them. And they did volunteer work for this. And so Shane, what happened was when it came time before I was mayor for the comp plan to be redone, the town hired a consultant. The consultant put together the process and started with, how you get to where you want to end up. And so the consultants came on a forum, what was called the Comprehensive Plan or Comp Plan Forum. Those are the people, some of you watching may have applied or may have served on that. They were appointed by council. Then we had an election. And so when we got new bodies on, in order to make sure that the process represented the latest in the thinking of the voters of Mount Pleasant, we expanded the forum, which was good. More citizen input is good. So we took it up to 40 something. And then a series of public hearings were held, and we had hundreds of people come to those. They were like charrettes. Pre-COVID days, if anybody can remember that, where you could just walk into town hall and have hundreds of people, and there were boards up there, and you put things on there that were important, whether they were green space, density, commercial development, all the things that make a town. And I think, if I remember, and Lauren, correct me, they count heads, and we had more people, more citizens show up and have input to that than has ever happened in the town of Mount Pleasant. It only happens once a decade.
Yep.
Over the last decade, that we became the fastest growing town east of the Mississippi at one point. And so common themes arose, and this is you, the people of Mount Pleasant, before the elected people have a word to say about this, and that was protect our quality of life, lower densities, keep the buildings at a height that looked like Mount Pleasant and not like South Florida, and enhance and increase green space and activities that citizens can do. And what you will see in this plan represents that. One of the hallmark features in this that'll be a legacy for people like Lauren who are on staff, people like me who have had the privilege to serve in an elected capacity, is the Mount Pleasant Way. And where this is going, and it will come in increments, will be a pathway, walkable and cyclable pathway that will get you all over Mount Pleasant to all the things that you want to see and all the things you want to go to, from the far ends of town to the middle of town and to the edges. And one of the sticking points that we got to when it came to us to pass was this thing called hubs. And we did a lot of soul searching on what we wanted the hubs to be. And what we decided after taking this up way back in January was that what these hubs are places that will be redeveloped at some point. There are shopping centers and things that have reached the end of their useful life. And so what we did was we took the name hubs out, because that sounds and implies that, when I think of a hub, I think of, noise and things happening and all that. And without getting too far down in the details, these redevelopment areas will become things that are better than what they are now, without increasing the strain on the infrastructure that we have from a decade of being one of the fastest growing towns. And I'll just leave it at that. I'm very proud of this council. I'm very proud of the fact that it passed unanimously. There are not factions. There's not the heavy development faction and the no development faction. It all came together in what will be a better Mount Pleasant. And I'm really proud. This is my third year of mayor. I've got one more year in this term. This is the kind of thing that I can sit back and say, this is what I ran to do. This is what all these council members ran to do, is to get something that will be a better Mount Pleasant, but will absolutely be the Mount Pleasant that we still know and love, Shane. So thank you for asking about that.
Well, what's interesting is that, most of us have trouble planning what we're going to do in the next week, the next month. I mean, this is a massive undertaking to put together a plan for the next decade. To me, it's mind-boggling in the amount of people that have to be involved to make decisions, and then for you to go all the way down the line and to get that voted on unanimously. It's quite an undertaking, but congratulations to you and town council for putting that together, the past town councils as well, and moving it forward. It's a big deal.
Thank you. It was a lot of work. We sent it back a few times to committee once it came to council. Once the citizens groups are finished, it's council's job to get it done. And COVID interfered. We did not want to do it during COVID. We could have finished this back in the spring. Our goal was to have it finished in April. But once COVID came along, we did not think that doing virtual meetings was the way to do this. And there were opportunities at the meetings where we were voting for first reading, and then we sent it back, and then it came back, and then another final reading. Citizens could show up and say, I think you're making a mistake here. I think you're doing this wrong. And so I feel like the tumult has calmed down. The vision has taken time, and it's a cliche, but if it's worth doing right, it's worth doing right the first time. So yes, we took a little extra time, and COVID got in the way. I think if we had passed it during the COVID days when we were meeting virtually, people would have said, how can you do something that important when you're not even meeting, in a public setting? So we delayed it for that reason. And I think this comp plan is going to be one of the best and stands up to the test of time as well as anything possibly could that, as you said, that you look down the corridor for 10 years to see.
Well, this was one of the items on the agenda for council on Tuesday of last week. Another that got a lot of press, and I know in particular, some council members are very excited about the fact that we're going to have a Christmas parade in Mount Pleasant. And I think it really kind of brings the community together. It shows the positivity, and it shows that, hey, we want to get back to normal, whatever that looks like. But having a Christmas parade is something that, you know, we all should be excited about.
Yeah, and it's going to happen, and it falls under executive orders from the governor, so it's not really the town's rules. Like, we don't have a mask rule outdoors, but for gatherings over 250 people, that it has been approved by the Department of Commerce, which is given the task of approving such things. There will be some different rules and things that apply. And again, council said when it was passed that if our COVID numbers spike, either we or the state could decide, you know, we don't need to be having a group this large meet. So as of now, it's on go.
Something else that came out of the council meeting was, of course, the renaming of the Boardwalk and the Pedestrian Bridge. That's going to be renamed for the Magwood family. Obviously, we lost Wayne Magwood back in September to a terrible accident, but we're going to honor him by renaming that Boardwalk and Pedestrian Bridge for the Magwood family. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, this is one that in government and politics I call a no-brainer. I hate to think that it took a tragedy like losing Wayne in a tragic accident like that to name it for the Magwood family. We probably would have done this eventually anyway. And I'm really glad that we're doing it. I know the family took some solace in that. And it's not just for Wayne, but it's for the Magwood family. They have, you know, we all enjoy seeing those shrimp boats on Shem Creek. I've said since I got involved in public life, if it weren't for those shrimp boats, Shem Creek would look like every other marina from here to South Florida. And those shrimp boats are what give the character of this town and the character of the creek. And it looks easy to us, but you ask anybody who's done it, you ask the Magwood family how hard it has been, not just when it's easy, I don't mean easy, when it's successful, you know, when the money is there and the shrimp are there and the prices are there, but fixing those boats all the time and going out in rough weather and all that stuff, it's the hardest job around, but it has kept part of the culture and the ethos of the town of Mount Pleasant. And so the Magwood family has paid that price for our benefit. And now we've got the Magwood Bridge and the Magwood Pedestrian Bridge and the Magwood Family Boardwalk. And coupled with that is that the town is going to start receiving funds for those who want to donate them, not commingled with anything of the town's funds, no taxpayer dollars, but private donations, so that we can start a heritage center that someday will be in that area and that will commemorate all that the shrimping culture embodies. And so they're going to start their own nonprofit. I've been in touch with the Magwood family about it, as have other council members, and we're real happy to do that. We're just blessed to have it. You know, when you come away from Mount Pleasant or you get the picture or you buy something, 9 times out of 10, it's got something nautical. It's got a shrimp boat or something on it. And so we want to preserve that heritage, and that was enacted by council Tuesday night as well.
Well, what I'd like to do at this point is bring in Lauren Sims. And Mr. Mayor, if I may ask you, as I ask Lauren this next question, could you mute, because you have a pretty serious hiss going on your end? It's not as bad when you're speaking, but when you're not speaking, it overtakes the others. So thank you, sir, on that. Appreciate that very much. Lauren, I wanted to get your thoughts on the minority and small business relief grants. I understand the applications for that is open today, right?
Yes, absolutely. Very exciting announcement that the governor released last week, and the applications are open as of today. However, it's a very quick turnaround, so we want to just make sure that everyone listening today, if they are eligible, they know it's quick turnaround. Applications are due by November 1st. And so you can apply for grants anywhere from $2,500 to $25,000. That's quite significant. There are a few eligibility requirements. One, you have to have 25 or fewer employees at your business. You have to be physically located in South Carolina. You have to have been in operation since September 13th of 2019. I'm not sure about the reason behind that date, but that is what was released from the governor's office. And that you can demonstrate a financial hard hardship that was caused by COVID-19. So just make sure you get your application in. From what I understand, it's a fairly simple application process, but it is a great opportunity for any of our small businesses here who need that, as part of their recovery efforts from the COVID-19 impact. So make sure you check it out. Again, tight turnaround, so keep it on your radar.
Well, and Friday, you and I had an opportunity to see each other in person for the first time in probably, I don't know, it's been a while. We had an opportunity to spend some time together over at Mount Pleasant Seafood. Of course, the Fitch family, Ryle and Peggy, celebrating 75 years of Mount Pleasant Seafood. And, that is something that they should be very proud of. We were excited to be there to help celebrate along with the town the 75th anniversary of Mount Pleasant Seafood. But, this is a way to really celebrate those long-standing businesses in Mount Pleasant. And I understand there is a maritime fund. Is that right? Could you tell us about that?
Yes, that's what the mayor was referring to a little bit earlier. And they just kind of tie hand in hand. And honestly, the timing of it couldn't have been more perfect to celebrate 75 years of our local seafood business down on Shim Creek. And the mayor and council passing this ordinance that creates a fund to house donations, to make sure that the story about the importance behind the seafood industry and how it has really cultivated and shaped the culture here in Mount Pleasant and our unique identity, all those things that Mayor was talking about. Think of Mount Pleasant, you think of the shrimp boats. So all of those great things being commemorated. I was trying to say memorialized and then commemorated, not in one big word. Combined into one heritage foundation. And so that was the fund that was created at town council last month. So we're very excited that is on the books now, ready to receive donations in case anybody is interested in doing so.
On top of celebrating 75 years of Mount Pleasant Seafood, we had a ribbon cutting shortly after that one. So we're starting to see some more ribbon cutting, some new businesses coming to Mount Pleasant. And we as the chamber, in cooperation with the town, are very excited about going out and meeting these new businesses and welcoming them to the town of Mount Pleasant. Mr. Mayor, I'd like to welcome you back in, if I may, because I wanted to chat a little bit about the task force regarding the settlement communities. I know you had some thoughts on that, sir.
Sure. Our settlement communities date back to the day that our African American brothers and sisters first tasted freedom in our soil. And it's part of our history, and it's part of our culture, and part of our comprehensive plan, and part of our dedication as elected officials is to preserve that. And so Councilmember G.M. Whitley proposed a task force for not just the parts that are in the town, but many of those are not in the town, like the Phillips community that's in the path of Highway 41. Much discussion about that lately. This is for all of them, so that everything we do as a town will enhance and preserve those. And so we put it out there for people to apply to be on there, and we let the committee that also did the heavy lifting on the comp plan, the planning committee, cull through those and get advice and appoint 19 that represent all of the settlement communities from one end of Mount Pleasant all the way up to 10 Mile and everyone in between. And so we voted on that slate again unanimously, and we have 19 people that will begin advising us and working with the town so that we can make sure that things the town does will either inspire some parts of those to annex into the town, which of course is always voluntary, or to make sure that what the town does is not to the detriment of those settlement communities. So I really want to thank the members who are serving on there. And then for those who weren't selected, we also have over at Waterworks, where I also get to wear a hat and vote over there as a commissioner, is the Clean Water Coalition that will make sure that water service goes to all of those areas, which is different from wastewater, which can channel development, which can undo the settlement communities. But we think everybody has a right to clean drinking water, and we will strike a balance on that as well.
Well, we have certainly covered a lot today. My understanding is, Mr. Mayor, you will be out at the farmers market. So if there are members or folks that would like to speak to you or ask questions, they certainly could see you there tomorrow. Is that right?
right? This is something I started after I came into office and used to do it on, not every single Tuesday, but most Tuesdays. And people can walk up and tell me what's on their mind or where they have a problem in town or something like that. And I haven't done it during the COVID realities yet, just because we've kind of limited things like that. But the farmers market has been running well. There's total social distancing. We're wearing masks, and we can't shake hands and hug. But in a COVID reality, we can still talk face to face. So I'm looking forward to being out there tomorrow.
Absolutely. Anything else before I let you go, Mr. Mayor? That's all I have for today.
Other than that your Dodgers beat my Braves, but I get it. And yeah, go ahead, gloat. Congratulations. It was a great series, and it did come right down to the wire. And I understand they're playing all the games of the World Series in one stadium this year. Is that right?
Yep, that is correct. Yeah, they did. And they played all of the National League Championship Series, of course, in Texas in the new facility there with no days off, 7 consecutive games. They will have 2 days off in this World Series to help the pitchers kind of get some rest and kind of get back on a rotation. But yeah, I was a mess last night because they were down 3-2. They tied it at 3. I walked the dog for like 20 minutes because I couldn't take it anymore. I came back, it was still 3-3, and then Cody B hit the dinger to go up 4-3. And there was a lot of celebrating in the Griffin household last night. 3 World Series in the last 4 years. I'm just begging. This has got to be my year. I haven't had a World Series since 1988. I don't ask for a lot. It's got to be this year, right, Mayor?
Right, and so since the Braves aren't there, and I got family that lives right near the stadium in Cobb County and everything, they are avid Braves fans. But we're on your side now, so go Dodgers. There you go.
Yeah, we're gonna have to cheer for the Dodgers. It was a very different story when I saw you Friday, Shane. So I'm very happy to see things have turned around for you.
Yes, I was not feeling.
We have to cheer for them just on precedent.
Yeah, I was not feeling confident, but they came through, and it should be an interesting World Series. The 2 best teams in Major League Baseball going at it in this era of COVID. So enough of that. I know folks are going, what's going on here? This is supposed to be Monday with the Mayor, not Dodger Talk with Shane Griffin. But anyway, Mr. Mayor, Lauren, it's always great to see you. Thank you both for your time. Remember to stay positive, test negative, and also be safe, stay healthy, and keep moving forward. We'll see you back here next Monday with the Mayor.
Thanks, Shane. Enjoy it.
Bye, thanks.